Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to Pulling My Handicap Card. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Diondra.
And today we have two very special guests. Our moms.
Alright, so this is my lovely mother to the right of me. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi.
Introduce yourself, lady.
I'm your mom.
Well, they want to know your name. You're not mom to them.
Oh, okay. My name is Shantina. Most people call me Tina.
And this is my big head mom. Hey, Mom. What?
Hey, Brandon.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, guys. I'm Cynthia, and I am Brandon's mom.
You got to say it with your chest.
Okay.
As y'all can see, today will be very, very entertaining. We're both super, super, super close with our moms. But the funny thing is that so I would say, like, I'm really Cynthia's child, and that's really my mama. We super close, and Brandon is like, yeah, your mama really my mama. So we have a dope little vibe and relationship going on here.
It's an awesome thing. Very awesome thing to have a daughter-in-law that you don't just take on as a daughter-in-law or a daughter-in-love, but you connect so with her that you feel as if you could have given birth to this child. Awesome thing.
Yes.
And it's awesome to have a son that when you're with him or talking to him on the phone, his
You
wife
better
gets
say
mad.
it. You
His
better
wife
say
gets
it, girl.
mad.
Brandon calls my mom his girlfriend, and they just
They
have
don't need
no
to know
regard.
that. They
have
don't need
no
to know
regards
that. That's
for
my
my
boo.
feelings. But I'm just happy
Oh, my
and
goodness.
thankful that they have a close, like, really good relationship.
Hey, Brandon, can I just give a start on this?
Go ahead.
Can I talk a little bit about just in general, just kind of having a child with spina bifida? It's so funny because spina bifida is one of those handicaps that if you almost don't know a whole lot about it unless you know about it. And of course, when he was born, I had no idea. We were military. And we traveled a lot, and we went from one duty station to another. And at that time, you didn't get an ultrasound like every time you go to the doctor, or even every so often. Actually, you only kind of got one maybe if you were lucky near the end of your pregnancy kind of thing.
Wow.
So we PCS, which was the permanent change of duty station, in the middle of my pregnancy. So at the time I was due to have one at the doctor I was initially attending, we had PCS to the new duty station, and they were like, oh, you didn't get one there. And it was like, oh, okay, whatever. I know I'm having a baby. It's my third child. It's no big deal. So when I did,
Okay.
when I did give birth, and they told me that my child was born, and they were just like, something is wrong, It's like, okay, well, what is it, And they couldn't. They were just kind of tap dancing around. They were like, we're gonna let you see him for a moment, but we have some things going on here, and otherwise, kid perfectly healthy. He came like a couple of days before his due date. He was 7 pounds, like 12 ounces. He was a big kid, a big baby rather. He's still a big baby.
You know it, girl.
But so when they did get around to letting me know that he has myelomeningocele, and better known as spina bifida, that they were going to be rushing him to the downtown hospital. He was born at the Army hospital, and that they would be taking him to the downtown hospital. Told my husband, don't try and keep up with the ambulance and all that good stuff. I mean, you talking about some funny stuff. It was so funny that when he was born, it was as if his kneecaps didn't go this way and, legs go down.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they went this way.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a flip. So, of course, he just tore up everything, coming out. But I lived through it. But my husband was just like, he came in the room. He was just like, you don't want to see him. And his little feet were, kind of balled up. He was like, he don't have any toes.
So just to clarify, my baby does have toes. He didn't look like it, though.
All three
Yeah,
of
they
them.
were just all balled up. And it was just like, I don't care. But, it's so odd because I know there is a God, because I knew that he gave me a calm about it. It was just like, okay, well, look, what do we do next? Okay, he has spina bifida, but what do we do next? I didn't know what it was, but what do I do next kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I shot into motion. I checked myself out of the hospital the following morning so that I could go to the downtown hospital and I could be with my kid.
She was going to check on her baby.
Yeah. I called my mom. I go, Mom, something wrong with him. I can't say that word.
Yeah.
And my mom like, okay, I'm getting on the bus. So, I'm getting in a car or whatever. And my mom came. And nevertheless, needless to say, we're here now.
We've been partying ever since, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Literally.
Partying like some rock stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partying like it's 1999.
So before we go back to you, I want to switch over to Ting Ting. So Ting Ting, let's go 31 years later.
Oh,
30
my.
or 31?
I don't do math, boy. Come
One
on
of
now.
them. What were you?
I'm not even
it
30
hasn't
yet.
been a year, so
It has
It
definitely
has.
been a year.
barely. Okay,
So-
go.
Almost 2.
What was your first thought? Like after I hop out this big red truck, what was your first thought? Because you were at the window.
Yeah, he literally hopped out the big red truck. I mean, I was trying to be slick and look out the window because Diondra had told me they were coming by. And I can't remember if she told me you were driving or if she was driving. But anyway, I was looking out the window so I could prepare myself. And then I saw that he was driving. I'm like, okay, it's all good. He can drive. And I was waiting for Diondra to get out the truck first, come around and help you out. But no, you jumped out the truck, and I'm looking out the window like, ain't nothing wrong with him. Right. And he comes around her side, so I thought he was going to open the door for her. No, he was coming up the driveway. She's still getting out the truck. So he beat her up the driveway. So next, I was like, okay, I got stairs. Let's see. He made it up the stairs to my house, and then to come into the house, you got to come up some more stairs. He made it up those stairs. I was like, there's nothing wrong with him.
Right.
So, really, there's nothing wrong with Brandon.
Now, y'all have to remember, my mom is a nurse. So I had called and kind of prepped her like, because, okay, at this time, everybody was like, we know you talking to somebody. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring my boyfriend to meet you, Mom. But I just want to let you know he has spina bifida. And so she knows to the full extent what that word means, where most people don't. So that's why she's saying, like, she was looking and, like, trying to prepare herself for what she probably envisioned in her mind he was going to look like.
Yeah, I didn't really envision anything because I was just wanting to wait and see, because as a nurse and as prior military, we have been trained to think of the worst first. We go all the way left first to say what's the worst thing it could be, and then we work our way back down. So I didn't want to do that, and so I didn't really think about it at all. I just said, let me just wait and see. So I'm glad I did that, because you would have been half dead.
Oh, man. Oh,
We
man.
rolling him
Right. Right. So, and clarify, she said, she told me she's going to bring her boyfriend. No, she said her friend.
Yeah.
Of
yeah.
course.
Her
Yeah.
friend.
Like Grandma
Yes.
said, let's,
My little friend.
let's pray for Diondra, little friend.
Okay.
So back to you, Mom. Okay, so you just gave us like birth. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go to elementary school. How was elementary school for you? Because let's go to like kindergarten or preschool. Like
Yeah,
that time.
I mean, I can kind of give you a little bit of just in general, having a child with, a disability. And then it was, people didn't use the kind word disability. It was more handicap, oh, he's handicapped. And they always felt as if, although no matter what I told them he needed, that I was telling them something, but he needed more. So they always seek more. And even just going back to when we were at different places and I needed childcare alone was just a big thing. I ended up having to actually have a nanny because they would tell me they had care available until we got there and they saw him being slightly different. And then they would tell me they didn't have a slot and they would call me when they would get one type thing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they, they always tried to make provisions for him. Even when he got into school, like they let him in. They didn't know better. They did let him into school,
They only
And
knew.
They always were like, so do we need to sit him in the front of the class? I go, no. Okay, does he need his own bathroom? Does he need to does he need a buddy? Do I need to buddy him up with someone? Like everything about school was deep, and it's like, No, he just needs a desk. He needs,
Yeah.
What the other students
yeah.
need.
I'll send this book bag, and he'll have everything that he needs, and he's okay. I promise you. And then it kind of got to the point where they just weren't sure because nobody really knew much about spina bifida. They didn't know how to handle him. They didn't know his direct and indirect needs. So then he just started kind of learning how to get over, like.
All right. Well, interview with mom.
Let's hear that.
No? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So he kind of got away with
Slickster.
some things. Yeah, that technically the other kids didn't get away with,
I think he still do that, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, so back to you, Cynthia.
So, Mom, I want to know. Okay, so we got through you meeting my little friend or whatever. You like. Now, what she say? Spina bifida? Okay, whatever. Okay, so now we get to the point Brandon comes to you and basically tells you that he wants to propose. He wants to marry me. So, like, what were your real thoughts knowing that he has this disability and we're going to get married and kids? Like, what were your thoughts, your daughter marrying someone with a disability?
Well, first, let's back up.
Keep going.
She always
gotta
She
back
up.
She finna go there.
I'm
She
about
is.
to go.
Go
girl.
ahead, go girl.
Because she came to me to tell me that she was gonna start this business with her house and turn it into an Airbnb, and that for her to start the Airbnb, then she was gonna need
Have to have a
somewhere to
place to
go.
live.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so where you gonna live? You coming home? And she's like, no. And I'm like, no. Okay, so what you gonna do? So there was a little story, but that story fell through about her and some other friends. But then she said Brandon offered her to
room.
stay, at his place, in her own room. She
He
could
did.
have her room. He would have his room. And
He
I'm
did.
like, oh.
Never surfaced.
So
I
you
bet.
going to stay with a guy? I'm
That's
like,
not how
No,
she
that's not
worded
what
it.
you said.
If we gonna
If you
go
gonna
there.
tell the story, tell the story.
You gonna stay with this little
Brandon?
boy? You gonna stay with a boy? Brandon was like, do I need to get up and let y'all at the table?
I'm out of it.
Yeah. But at that point, I already knew, okay, if she's going to stay with him, this must be serious. And I didn't have any worries about him being handicapped because I knew he wasn't really handicapped. And I just knew that, that he was a good person, because if she liked him, then I knew that he had to be kind. He had a good heart. And Deondra's that way. She's kind. She has a good heart, because he wouldn't have made it very far if he hadn't.
Sure would.
So I wasn't worried.
Okay, so on the flip side, you weren't worried, but your friends are like, oh my gosh, your daughter's getting engaged, or whatever. Like, so how do you deal with when people find out that he has a disability and they maybe ask questions, or because I'm sure somebody didn't ask you, well, can they have kids, and well, girl, what you really think? So like, if those conversations come up, like, how do
All
you
the
handle
questions. Yeah.
that? Because I know they come up.
Yeah,
Wow.
actually, not many people have asked me those questions, but there is a person that has a lot of questions and asks those type questions. And I just tell them, just ask me a question, because
Okay, so if someone were to ask you, like, well, are you concerned about Diondra being married to Brandon, him having his disability, or like, can they have kids? Like, questions about his health.
I
or
just tell them that no, I'm not concerned, and I've seen other people with spina bifida live a long time, and have not many health issues, and so I just don't worry about stuff, really.
Okay.
To be honest, I really don't. I don't worry about stuff until something comes up to worry about.
Understood.
And because it's unnecessary, no need to. And then if you know Brandon for real, I'm telling you guys, if you didn't even see him walk, you wouldn't even know that there's anything going on with him. And sometimes he can trick you, because he'll turn around and walk backwards. And it's like he moonwalking out the room.
I told you on the last episode, I said I will moonwalk for
You
y'all.
Oh,
if y'all
did you? See, I didn't even know you said that before. But I picked up on it. I said, okay, Brandon think he's slick. He done turned around and started walking backwards, so nobody's paying him attention. I said,
Michael
he
Jackson.
literally moonwalking out of here.
Oh yeah, that's how he makes his grand exit when he wants to. For sure.
So on your end, with the the crazy questions, and
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've had quite a few, and especially over the years. As I say, sometimes they were serious, and they were valid. Even from doctors, like spina bifida is one of those that disabilities that can bring on other disabilities. And most children born with spina bifida actually have like they call them waterhead babies, or they have stuff like that where they have the hydrocephalus, and or it may bring on I don't know, other types of handicaps. I'm not going to even try and guess at any, but I was told by doctors, as you say, the medical field will tell you basically the worst, and as you say, you kind of go from there. And they would tell me all the time, oh, because he doesn't have it now doesn't mean he won't have it. They told me at birth, oh, he'd never have use of his limbs. He probably won't say much. He probably they just really shot for the worst.
Yes.
But I just always knew, I had a calm about it, that it was not so.
I never say much. Why y'all laughing? Why y'all laughing?
In your sleep.
But nevertheless, we went from that to I've had them come to me to ask me what's wrong with him. Can he see straight? Can he count? Can he read?
gosh.
Literally.
Man.
Like why he walked like that. And you know what's so odd, like he didn't get it as much from children just kind of look, and they look the other way. I had adults to like basically make a whole 360 to watch him. And does he do this? Does your children, it's like he's fine, from that to just kind of growing up. I don't really think Brandon realized he had a miss when he walked until probably high school.
I did.
I think he saw himself one day, and it's almost like I was in the present when he literally saw himself walk to see he had the miss. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, like, is that me? Like, what is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because we always treated him as we did the other children. And that's one thing that I would always advise to people with children with special needs. Please always give them the ability to be who they are, and give them responsibilities. Count them in.
Yeah.
Don't count them out.
That's good.
Whatever, Brandon.
That's good.
I mean, when it was his turn to take out the trash, and my husband would be like, "Oh no, you get your brother. You come take this trash out." I'm like, "No, you're not.
Yeah.
He can take this trash out for himself. It's his turn. He take out the trash."
AJ, come take this
And
trash
thank you
out.
so much, because now I have a full blown man
Yes.
versus him being babied, and
Yes.
we wouldn't have made it too far. So thank you, Mom.
But it was really important to him, believe it or not. It was important for him to be who he is. And I think that's kind of why we're where we are, like us in the studio, even having this full conversation, because he meant that he was going to beat the odds, that he was not going to let his disability control him, that he would control his own destiny with a disability.
Very good.
Yeah. So, you got anything before I cut it?
No.
Off? Okay. So, if you guys don't know, my mom owns a couple of different businesses, so I got to put her on the spot. So, what are you doing to help employ individuals with disabilities?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me that. So, in one of my businesses, for those who know me, I'm a daycare owner. And I do accept children with special needs or disabilities if we can accommodate. If it's over our head by just being child care workers, and something is needed that cannot be brought into the classrooms, such as therapy or a sort of counseling, or something to that effect, and it's just something that we cannot accommodate because we have not been properly trained on it, then we don't go that far. But for what we can, we do accept. So I just wanted to get that out first. But also just to say that as far as employing, I would definitely employ. I have employed children, shall I say, young adults with special needs, or if it's an older adult, as long as it's something that they can do, they can pass all the necessary background checks and the educational requirements, things that the state place upon us as a business that they're after. And, and I can accommodate to a certain degree. So as long as I can accommodate, if it's someone that can come in, you got to have that love for children. I did hire a person once that just could not handle it because it was just too much, and I could understand it's too much for someone without a disability, so to say. I think, to my heart, to be honest, I think we all kind of have our own disabilities of sort.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not opposed to it, and I just love, if someone come in and I can accommodate, that's my duty.
Very good.
Well, I appreciate that because
No, I don't. I wouldn't hire you.
no. Seriously, no. On a serious note, I do appreciate it because I have, and I was a great summer teacher. And that's I wasn't.
Yeah, you were a great summer camp counselor.
And they asked for me for maybe 2 years.
Because you're a big kid, so you was just the oldest kid in the classroom.
I do gotta ask you another question though. So did you think, like, as I was growing up, did you think I was gonna marry and it doesn't matter, but did you think I was going to marry like another person with a disability? Is that something that you always thought, like,
no.
Okay.
I always knew you would never marry not another person with spinal bifida, because that was never you. I always knew that although I didn't see her face, I knew it would be Diondra. And I say that because I knew what you were, I knew what you like, I knew that what you were capable of, I knew that you would not settle. And not to say another person with disabilities would be settling. Yeah. I'm not saying that at all. I just knew that I knew my son. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you got any more questions for Ting Ting?
What about you? Do you have any questions for Ting Ting?
I don't think so. I guess
got a question for Ting Ting.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hey, Ting Ting.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
like, when those grandbabies start flowing in, I've already done enough. They can come to the daycare, but I'm gonna give you the weekends and the evenings.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Long as we got, we got that understanding.
Y'all hear how quiet she got?
Yeah,
she
said
been
it
talking
real
now.
She She like, I hear you.
You get ready. You gonna be on duty, Ting Ting.
I hear you. I have something else to say.
Okay.
How I treat Brandon like a normal person. Like whooping him in bowling.
Okay, let's be fair. You won one game and I won the other.
Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, I'm very competitive. And when Brandon called me saying, let's go bowling, I was thinking, oh, Lord, I'm going to have to whoop Brandon.
I kept up, though.
He kept up. He actually made me get a cramp in my hamstring trying to make sure he didn't win the game, and hurt my back. And the next morning, my shoulder was hurting. I'm like, what have I done? And I thought about, oh, shoot, trying to bowl and beat Brandon last night.
That's the reason you made that comment. You ain't the only one disabled.
Right.
We talked about you on the podcast.
What?
Huh?
So let's discuss it while we're here. So Brandon bought that exact scene he brought up when we went bowling, and you made the joke of like, you're not the only one disabled. And I think Brandon kind of took it the wrong way initially, but he and I talked about it on a podcast, and I was telling him, you said exactly what I told him. I said, my mom is in the medical field and she's prior military. I said, so you have to realize that she goes to the worst possible thing and then back her way back. So we were just kind of talking about like some of the comments that you make around Brandon, but I think two things. I think one is just the nurse in you, and then two, I think you are being inclusive. Like when we were out the other day, there was a guy in a wheelchair, and you mentioned something to Brandon. But I think when you have those conversations, it's your way of not making him invisible, like he's the only one that's dealing with this. I think you try to include him in conversations and not make it like, oh, well, we can't talk about disability, or we can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because Brandon had said something to me earlier about he wanted to be tall like me.
Yeah.
And so the guy rolled into the restaurant in this motorized wheelchair that was high. The man was sitting up way high, and it made him tall. And I was like, Brandon, look, get you one of those, and you can be tall like me. That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
But most people would shy away from those conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they don't want it to be awkward. But I think my mom, being in the medical field, and then just having that bond with Brandon, I think she doesn't mind having those conversations so that he feels included. Like, we can talk about things that you deal with that we don't necessarily deal with too. So I'm kind of glad we talked about it, because I think at first Brandon was like, why is your mom always so weird about it? She's making it awkward.
Sorry, Brandon.
No, it's fine.
Well, at first too, Diondra had to tell me, Mom, he can do this, or Mom, don't try to do this for him. He can do it or quit. And I would always say, Brandon, stop. Brandon, don't do that. Brandon, are you okay, Brandon? Brandon. And she was like, Mama, he can do it. And I was at his house one time, and there was like 2 chairs sitting beside and a table, and he needed to get around. And instead of him asking people to move, he just puts his hand on the chair and the table and jumps over the other chair. And I'm like, Brandon. God dog it. So yeah, he had me on pins and needles at first, but not anymore.
Yeah.
We got it. We've been doing this for too long.
Right.
Oh, you guys, I used to get in so much trouble for scooting around or like touching a wall. Like I, kind of walking, I'm touching the wall when I have my braces on. I don't know how many whoopings I got for touching the wall.
I mean, I didn't treat him any different. I mean, and it's like, hey, I have to repaint these walls, and we live in government housing,
Right.
and I'm not repainting these walls. Can you not touch my walls? And it was the same rules for the other children. So it's
There
just
you
like,
go.
don't touch my walls.
But your parents played a crucial part in making you the man that you are, because they didn't handicap you.
Yeah,
like
for
they
sure.
knew that you could do more, you could be more. And I feel like they kind of pushed you. So her telling you not to guide on that wall helps you be able to do your job today. There's no reason for you to say, oh, I need some assistance with walking because this is how I trained myself to walk. Your mama made sure, no, you don't lean on that wall. You stand up and you walk. You know what I
Kicking
mean?
them walls down now, though.
So I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's Mr. Brandon. But yeah, kind of going back a little bit, when he was younger, I mean, he did everything that his siblings did, and he did it, with ease for the most of it. And I knew the times that some things did bother him.
What was the most challenging thing that you can think of as far, not school, because I know school was kind of.
Well, I can tell you the thing that kind of most offended me, and I always saw Brandon as just being Brandon. I remember one duty station we got there, and his sister had gotten a job at the commissary, just pushing the buggies into the commissary. And so the position I was in, I was actually a manager, a director at the time. And so they let his brother, who was, a year older than him, also kind of do it. So they were just really working for tips. So they were all getting tips. And Brandon wanted to do it so bad. And one of my ladies that worked for me at the time gave Brandon $20 basically for nothing, and it really offended me. But it made me, it kind of upset me, because it's like he didn't push for one, he didn't push a buggy in to get this $20, and why are you just giving him $20? But they had but he tried. I mean, he wanted to. Like, no, don't take the money from him. Like, don't, he got $20. He don't need to do it now. Kind of, and it's like, oh no, we ain't gonna do this with Brandon. Y'all gonna be out here giving him $20 a day.
Right.
First
First of all.
careful.
But see, that's my thing. Like, I think that's where I got the mentality.
I was just about to say that.
To just work. If I have to work, I have to work. And like for my first couple of years of working a real job, because I've worked ever since I was 16, but like working a real job, I was holding down 2 jobs for the longest. But it was just because how they raised me and kind of forced me to do what
I think we
they
need
do.
some applause for that.
Yes,
Shout out.
yes,
Shout
yes.
out.
Yeah, but I remember that exact story. I do.
You took that $20, didn't you?
Of course. Of course. Deidre probably had it though before the night was over with.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about D till she get on. Let her.
Oh yeah.
herself.
But also, I can just really remember a lot of the times with him being the one with the disability, he was the strongest of the 3. Not physically strongest. He was just
Hold on now, they
always.
can run my fade. I'm the strongest.
Oh
Okay,
my
well,
God.
whatever.
Oh,
You know, if
okay,
you think
okay.
so. You know, I ain't gonna stroke you. You know, whatever. But he was the one that always kind of had the mindset to know what it was that he wanted. So again, as you were saying, he's just always been very strong-willed, and he knew how to take care of himself. He don't know how to use a pair of scissors. He couldn't get that down pat. Cause
can't
you know
use scissors,
them
babe?
little fine motor skills.
Oh,
All right, y'all.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was a great
Okay.
vlog. I mean, this podcast.
We're gonna cut up some paper when we get home.
Yeah,
You gonna do it by yourself?
be prepared to help.
That's good to know when we
I
have
told
kids.
you that
You're
I
not
am,
the arts and craft dad.
I am not hands on. Like if it's manual labor, I do a little more, but doing some cutting out,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we-
cool.
I found that out quickly.
I'm cool. Listen, Mom, come on here telling out my secrets. What's wrong with you?
I needed to know that.
Hey, so in like school, so we talked to a girl that
Yvonne.
we talked to a young lady that has spinal bifida. I was looking at the time because in 3 minutes we posted, but and we were talking about special ed and so. Yes, I had problems, but I think more so special ed was a thing because I had a disability.
Of course, by
So,
all means.
They're saying that I was talking to one of my cousins, and she's a teacher or she's somewhere in the school field, and she said that it's no longer like that.
Correct.
And me and Yvonne were talking about, we were talking about how it was when we were in school.
Mm-hmm.
So. Do you remember, I was in a special ed class?
I can tell you it was so odd because you weren't in special ed for academic purposes. You were in because they had no idea of what to do with you.
Crazy.
And they always, if it was anything to occur, they just felt like they had you where you were already at, and this is where they could get the help. They didn't have it as they have it now, because as you say, as Yvonne may have been speaking of, they do inclusion now. So everybody is in the same classroom.
I love that.
And if it's something special that's needed in the way of help or something to that effect, I mean, you're working from the same book everybody else is working from, and your help may be a little different or something to that effect. So inclusion is the way to go, and I applaud. Hey, that stands for the applause there. I mean,
I was thinking the same
right,
thing.
yeah, I love inclusion. But then it was more so, Brandon goes to this class or Brandon goes to that class, and it's like, but Brandon, you can do this work. Like, you have no limitations as to this, that, or that. And it was like, that's where they have me, And at the time, although I knew it was different, it was just not a whole lot you could do about it,
Yeah,
and especially at
back
military
then.
schools.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, they, it was that, or it wasn't a thing called inclusion then.
Right.
But I feel like me and Yvonne was talking about, that screwed us at the end of the school, because I think I took algebra. Tina, close your ears. I took algebra 3 times. I took it 3 times, and the last time I went to summer school to cheat
So you
to
could
pass
pass,
it.
yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness. But it was like a lot of let's just play some here kind of thing, and nobody. And then the thing about it, if it was something that he didn't know, they didn't tell me until it was at the very end, and he was like you said, you were failing algebra. It wasn't that you couldn't do it; it's just that nobody wanted to take the time to get you the help that you needed, because they felt like you were already in special ed, so leave it alone. That's just kind of the way they did it.
Well, I equated it to the early beginning, the learning stages at the beginning. We in special ed classes, we used to watch TV and eat pizza, and we know we were gonna watch a movie. We never really did any curriculum because, like you said, they know what to do with us. So we were just sitting in the classroom most of the time.
That's sad.
It
It
is.
is sad.
Yeah.
So I have a spinoff question that's a little bit off topic, but do you think, Mom, your experience with Brandon going through school and even childcare, not really wanting to accept him, do you think that played a role into you going into childcare? Because I know
Most
you
definitely.
have students in your facility that have disabilities, but your program can help them, because you're not just childcare, you guys are
Correct.
teaching them.
Right, we're an academy.
Correct.
And we are teaching. And I do feel as if that did play a big role in me going the route that I have taken, because it took me so many avenues to get him where I did get him. If I had to do it all over again, now that I do have the education in education, I would definitely do it different. But back then, and with what the hand that I was dealt and all the moving around that we did every 2 to 3 years, I just kind of accepted what I did. But also I am glad that and fortunate that he didn't lay down to this.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I just kind of suggest to people that have people with special needs in their lives, be it a child or a family member, the next door neighbor's child or whatever, please place on them the ability to do what it is that they can do. Brandon told me early on things like, I can jump out the swing like my sister and brother do. You always tell me I can't jump. And I kept saying, but they say if you do this, they say this will happen. And so I just got to the point, I'm like, jump. Hell, you want to jump? I had to stop sugarcoating and stop, doing that kind of thing. Was it safe for him? I mean, he okay. He got a big head.
Just fine. Hold on, she got the big head. I got spina bifida. Yeah. Pull up my head card.
Yeah. So always just try to give them to what that they can do. Challenge them. Love them, but challenge them, and always be there for them when they are saying that they can do things. The sky is truly the limit.
Nah, man.
It really is.
It should be the limit. I feel like society, we have to evolve now, because society doesn't let the sky be the limit for me, because everybody else's limitations. So I personally feel like, everybody has to lighten up, and we have to evolve, so we can get there, so the sky can really be the limit, because I can do as much as anybody else, if I have the chance to prove it.
Right. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but if you don't have that mentality, sometime when you don't have the mentality, you're not going to go anywhere,
right.
So just to know that, hey, look, the sky may be limitless. I may not get there, but I can get as far as I can get because I'm giving it my all, opposed to someone stunning you and saying, nope, stop, can't do what I say, those kind of things that parents, we as parents, we just don't, we tend not to want our children to be hurt. Yeah. We don't want them to go through things. We try and catch it. Teen know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and we try to, hold you guys back, not in a bad way, not that we mean to hold you back. Yeah, as a form of protection. But, when you have one like Brandon, girl,
get ready for the
Brandon.
ride.
Yeah, girl.
Well, let me say, I saw Brandon walk up a mountain and then down the slope to marry someone. And then, of course, he had to walk back up the mountain and back down another slope to get back to where he was going. So,
man, I love you. But that was a once in a lifetime thing, girl. So I get in shape.
Yeah, I saw his dad trying to stand behind him, and everybody's like, "What he said?" Okay,
don't hate on my dad. Don't hate on my dad. Don't hate on my dad.
That was a good point, though, Teen. Like, so that was, I know that ain't this episode, but in our planning for the wedding planner had asked, like, was there anyone, because I said my grandmother was coming, so she's like, is there anyone that needs like any handicap accessible assistance, and there's a short hike to the location and blah 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 blah. And they were just so concerned about Brandon being able, like, she tried to change our location. We had this dream spot in mind, and she kept saying, well, I just don't know. And I'm like, listen, this is where we want to get married. Don't you worry about my baby. He gonna get down that mountain and back up. So
he did.
Again, don't place limits on people. Let them show you what they can do. And we've talked about it several times. If there's something Brandon can't do, Brandon figures out Brandon's way to do it. Or yes, he'll open up his mouth and ask for assistance.
For sure.
So to wrap up, I want to end with 2 questions. Mom, you've been dropping jewels all night. So what I want from both of you is to give a word of advice from your perspective, Mom. I want you to give word of advice to the parents who do have a child who wants to marry someone or date someone with a disability. And then I want you, Mom, to give advice to that parent who just found out that they're with child and that child's going to have a disability, or in your case, they're born and, oh my gosh, we didn't know, but the child has a disability. So whoever want to go first, give our listeners some advice.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go. First of all, it's all about love. And if you love someone and you want to be with that person,
Certainly.
nothing else matters.
Certainly.
Nothing else matters. But if they happen to have a disability, then just go with it. Just go with it. And as Diondra just said, if there's something that they can't do, they'll either find a way to do it or they'll ask for help. I don't think I've ever heard Brandon ask for help. Have you asked since I've known you?
I'll text Diondra and she'll come and help me most of the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But let's not judge, prejudge, or place limits on people. We just talked about it. So again, it's all about love. That's my answer.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
Brandon found a new button he likes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. To answer my question, first of all, I'll probably say take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and know that things are never as bad as they seem.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes like if I had a panic in that moment, and I know, as I say, it was God that gave me the peace. I knew that it wasn't as bad as, you know, I knew the kid had toes. I knew if he didn't have toes, he still could wear shoes. Mm-hmm. I saw some nubs down there for some feet. So they took my glasses from me, so I really didn't see a whole lot. But also I would just say that assess the situation wholly. Sometimes we do tend to judge. We just kind of hear what we want to hear, or we hear what we feel like we need to hear, and we kind of toss the rest aside. Please encompass the entire thing, whatever the thing is, having to do with the handicap, and just know, or disability, or whatever the situation is, and know that somebody has always went through something even worse than what you're going through, and that that you and your child and your family, everybody's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And you just really don't know. If somebody had asked me, you know, I've been asked before, hey, if you did know that your child had spina bifida before you gave birth, would you still have given birth? Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Why wouldn't I have? I mean, this kid means the world to me. And with the disability, right. I couldn't even imagine Brandon without the spina bifida at this point.
Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I couldn't, because that's all I know. Although I didn't know what it was, I didn't know how we were going to live with it, but now I don't know how we could not live with it.
I fully agree. I fully agree.
Yeah.
So, dang, I had one more question I was going to ask you. Did you see this? Did you see, you know, me working and, you know, did you see all of this?
Yeah, because they were giving him death sentences, essentially. Like, he won't live to be this age. He won't live to be that age.
And that he would, you know, they call him a waterhead baby with no use of his limbs. And, you know, he wouldn't have, you know, he just wouldn't be able to do much or anything. So, as I say, as we begin to get there, and meaning him growing up and aging, then I could see more and more with him. I always knew that he would exceed all the limitations that they had placed upon him at birth and growing up. I did see him being always having a job, being productive. I saw him marrying. I see him with children in his future, but I didn't see him being the clown that he is. You know,
what y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about?
Homie.
Right.
What are y'all talking about?
Right. I thought the sister was gonna be it. You know, and then they just kind of married it together with all that silliness, and I'm just like, dang.
Full of life.
Yeah,
Full
he
of life.
very much is. Yeah, very much.
Well, do y'all have any social media that you want to shout out, or, you know, anything you want to plug? No daycare, no.
I mean, Visions of Learning Academy is there, and we'd love to welcome you guys as long as we have slots available. We're seeking employees.
Yes,
so
we are.
At this particular time, if you feel like children is your field and you want this bonus that they're giving, and guess what? It's quarterly. Feel free to look us up. 427-5558.
Okay.
Area code 256. If you're seeking employment in the child care field, we're seeking full-time and part-time employees. But again, again, please be mindful of people with disabilities and handicaps, so to say. Treat them as regular folk. You know, love on them. There's nothing weird about them. You don't have to sugarcoat. You don't have to overcompensate. Just be you and allow them to be them.
Amen.
Ting, Instagram?
Yeah, no Instagram,
Facebook?
no social media. But if you want to work at Cynthia's daycare, you need to hit me up for CPR and first aid.
Yes.
Yes, I teach CPR classes and first aid, and Brandon knows how to do CPR and first aid. I taught him. That's right.
Awesome.
And my mama is single and fine, but I don't play about her. So if you want to get to her, you have to come through me for an interview. But we are open to stepdaddies. Okay. So before we wrap up, I just want to say to both of my mothers how much I love you guys, and just thank y'all for the support along the journey. I know me and Brandon's journey, nothing about our journey has been orthodox at all. We really probably just sprung it up on everybody with this relationship, but it has been the best, most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And I'm just so thankful to have two moms that I love like I came out of you. You know what I mean? So thank y'all. We love y'all.
We love you.
And I love you.
We
I love you so
you.
much. And I just love the relationship y'all have. So we ain't gonna go into that because that's not what the podcast is all about, but I'm thankful for you.
Okay.
All right, you guys. We out.
All right.